Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface. It's the final race of the season. We're in touching distance of winning the Constructors' Championship. We're 20 points ahead at the moment. That means if Mercedes by some chance finish first and second in this race, pick up the full complement of 43 points, we would need to finish third and sixth. Vettel in third, Raikkonen in his usual sixth place. That would also give us 23 points. That would put us even on points right at the end of the season. We would then win the title. I would think we would win the title as we would have the most wins overall, as we've got 9 wins overall. That would bring Mercedes up to 4 wins overall. The main thing we need to do in this race is keep Vettel ahead of one of the Mercedes and hope that we don't have another crash during this episode. Another crash would be devastating to us here. We don't want to crash out. That would be the worst thing that could possibly happen here. Definitely do not want a crash. We have crashed out in the last 2 races now. We don't want that crash syndrome to catch on. We don't want to have another one. Either Vettel, Raikkonen, they've both crashed out in the last 2 races. Vettel in the race before last, Raikkonen crashed out last time when we could have had both our Ferraris finish pretty high up. Rosberg out as well in the last race, he crashed out as well in Brazil. Rosberg was actually the first to crash, and it was looking like we were going to get both cars high up in the points, that we could almost confirm the title after Interlagos, but it didn't happen. This time out we've got Abu Dhabi. This doesn't look at all like the track, possibly the track that least represents the actual track in real life, so it's going to be pretty interesting what sort of setup I can get here. I'm not quite sure. I don't think I've got any notes from previous games for this track layout, so I'm going to be going in from scratch for this one, so we might not end up with the best setup here, which might make things difficult for us overall in catching Mercedes, but we're going to see how we can do here. We're going to come back when it's time for qualifying, so I'm going to hit practice now, and we'll come back when practice is over, and then we'll jump straight into qualifying to see how we can do. So practice is over there, 7/10 slower than the Mercedes in practice. That hasn't really meant much for qualifying, as we've usually been quite a bit slower in practice. It does usually mean that we're going to be slower in the race though. So let's hope we can get some decent qualifying laps in here. We'll come back when we're going to set our first flying lap with Raikkonen and Vettel, and we'll see how we get on here in Abu Dhabi. Right, so we've got both cars coming round now for this final qualifying lap. The first lap was pretty much a disaster. Vettel 5th, Raikkonen 7th. Both the Mercedes and Red Bull quicker than our Ferrari. Bottas in the Williams actually quicker than Raikkonen by over half a second. So we really need to improve on this lap. Vettel is improving, as is Raikkonen. We're doing a lot better on this lap. Hopefully we can get into the position that we need. If qualifying finished like this and the race finished how qualifying finished, then we would lose the title. So we need some good improvements here. Raikkonen's going quite a bit quicker. He's done quicker in both the first 2 sectors than he did last time out, so hopefully it doesn't look like he's got enough time to actually go in front of Bottas, though. It did really need to pick up quite a bit of time. Raikkonen, yeah, he's not gone quick enough to get in front of Bottas either. Where is Raikkonen right about now? Could Raikkonen get in front of Ricciardo? He's not quick enough to get in front of Verstappen here. No, we haven't improved there either. So we're going to be starting the race in 5th and 6th here. Hamilton and Rosberg on pole. Hopefully the Red Bulls can get in front of Mercedes to slow them down so they don't get a massive gap to extend right at the start of the race here. We don't want the Mercedes pulling away. That would be the worst thing that could possibly happen here. So we really need to get our act together here for this final race. It's all coming down to this final race, and we're sort of lagging behind already. It looks like the Mercedes are set up to push from the off here. We don't have a lot of performance increases for the race, as it took a lot of time around this Abu Dhabi track just to get the qualifying trim bonus that I wanted to try qualify higher up the grid. That obviously didn't work out for us. So we're gonna go with the super softs here. Yeah, super soft. Why did I pick soft here? Super soft. Didn't get the best setup either, as I thought. We got to 97% in the end. We're gonna go revert to that one. So it's 15 laps. We can just about do this on 2 sets of super soft, which is what we're going to be aiming for here. Hopefully that's going to make us a little bit quicker. I don't know whether Raikkonen can do that. Yes, Raikkonen can do that as well. So that is what we are going to be aiming for here. Just one stop and do both stints on the super soft. Hopefully that makes us a little bit quicker than the other teams after the second stop, because I've got a feeling they might be coming in for just a soft. So we might be quicker towards the end of the race. So hopefully we can get a good start here, which is what we need. And we need the Red Bulls to slow the Mercedes down as well. So Vettel's off pretty quickly. It looks like he's got the jump on Ricciardo. They're getting a little bit close down to the first corner here. We don't need any collisions or anything. Raikkonen has managed to get past Bottas pretty easily. But the Force India is now shooting through here. Which Force India is that? That's Perez coming through and knocking Raikkonen down, the man he will possibly be replacing next season. Bottas, meanwhile, has managed to get past Raikkonen. And it looks like Vettel's dropped down as well. He's lost a place to Ricciardo and to Perez. Perez making a storming start there at the beginning of this race. And it looks like the Mercedes are out in front. No, Verstappen's actually managed to get past Rosberg, which is good. That is just what we needed. We need Verstappen to stay in front of Rosberg here. And we really need to try conserve some of this tyre if we want to go on to another pair of super soft towards the end of the race. But 6 and 7 is definitely not good enough here. But Vettel gets past Ricciardo just as I say that. It looks like Raikkonen's getting right on the back of Ricciardo as well. Verstappen has been passed by Rosberg and is dropping back here. So we really do need that 3rd and 6th place here. It looks like we're getting held up by Perez. We're slowing Vettel down enough that it allows Ricciardo to get the jump on him and get past him. This is definitely not what we needed here. Although the Mercedes are really pushing their fuel load here. It looks like they try to blow everything in early going to try and get a gap established. Whereas we're just really getting slowed down by Force India again, just as we did in the last race by Hulkenberg. It looks like Vettel's even slowing down Raikkonen a little bit. Ricciardo has now managed to get past Perez. Are we going to be able to get Vettel past Perez? It doesn't look like we're going to even be able to catch the Red Bulls here. This is going to turn out to be an absolute disaster of a race. Vettel and Raikkonen already pretty close here. Should we have Vettel push a little bit? Otherwise these two are going to be coming into the pits pretty much bang on top of each other, unless we get one of them past Perez. Although it doesn't look like we can do that. Vettel really struggling to get past Perez here. Even pushing just slightly, we're not even able to do that. The Red Bulls are now getting away here. Mercedes really out in front. How far are they in front of Verstappen? They've got a 6-second gap from Rosberg to Verstappen here. So it looks like Mercedes have got the 1-2 sewn up for the first time this season. Mercedes coming back really strong right at the end of the season. I'm not going to be too disappointed if we do end up losing the title here, as the plan was never to win the title in the first season. It was not something I wanted to do. It was always going to be planning that we should be building Ferrari up to go ahead and win the title. I'm going to try to conserve these tyres a little bit actually, especially this one of Vettel's. We do really want to push if these start coming into the pits, so maybe if we can hold off a little bit, we can get the jump on Perez through pit stops. Hopefully that is something we can do here. And let's just hope that Mercedes mess up towards the end of the race. That is our only hope here. It looks like, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get one of our cars past the Force India. So Verstappen is managing to hang on to Rosberg a little bit. Hopefully that's a good sign. We do need the Red Bulls to catch the Mercedes if we are in with a chance, or to be in with a chance of still winning this title here. There are 9 laps to go here. We can do 8 on the super soft. The Mercedes are going to be pitting soon, hopefully for a soft tyre. It looks like Vettel does. Looks like Vettel's challenging with Perez here. And Raikkonen shoots up the inside there. Don't want these two Ferraris hitting each other. Bottas now gets past Raikkonen. And Bottas actually gets past Vettel as well. And that's possibly because we're running a little bit low here. Yeah, the tyres slowed down. But we're at where we want to be. We've got an extra lap in the tyre from Vettel now. The Mercedes possibly are going to think about pitting the lap after this one, whereas we've got another lap in it as well for Vettel. Possibly not for Raikkonen. Maybe we should go ahead with... No, because we don't want them crashing into each other. I can't actually believe that we're down in 7th and 8th here. That is the most shocking thing of all. We've never been this far down before. And right at the death when we really needed a good race, we're having a really bad one. Right, so we've got... Definitely going to be able to go on the super soft again. We're going to get Raikkonen into the pits this lap. Vettel is going to be coming in the one after. Vettel defending from Bottas as well at the moment. Got Perez still in front. The Mercedes coming into the pits. Double stacking of the Mercedes, which could help Vettel out here. They had to double stack a little bit. But we're still... Oh, we didn't even get out. Didn't even get in front of Rosberg through the pits there. And Raikkonen has been a mistake on Raikkonen's pit stop as well. Just what we didn't need. Vettel, meanwhile, his tyres are on the borderline here. We're going to have to go fast because we really need something to happen here. We really need something to go in our favour. It looks like Perez is holding Rosberg up. As I say, that Rosberg does manage to get past him. Perez is coming to the pits this time. Hopefully we can get past him in the pits. That would be the best thing that could happen. Really. Otherwise, Vettel has been really struggling to get past Perez. Where's Raikkonen? Is Raikkonen going to be able to get in front of Perez now as well? Perez is now coming out. It looks like Vettel's actually got in front of Perez here. Vettel is now out in front of Perez. Try to get a little bit of heat in these tyres. Raikkonen, meanwhile, Raikkonen is behind Perez as well. They've come out on the softer tyre. Rosberg has come out on a really slow medium tyre. But the Red Bulls are on quicker tyres as well. So it doesn't look good for in our favour of catching the Red Bulls here. At the moment we're losing the title. It doesn't look like the title is coming to Ferrari this year. Five laps remaining. We've got quite a bit of life in this tyre, so maybe we can go ahead and just push this tyre till the end. Hopefully we've got enough to do that. We're up into 5th. Will we catch him? We're not even catching Ricciardo, really. We're not even really catching Ricciardo. I don't think they're going to have any problems with their cars. And Raikkonen, meanwhile, is stuck behind Perez. Behind Grosjean as well, but Grosjean has to come into the pits. Maybe we can attack on this tyre, see if we can get past Perez. No, Perez actually gets past Grosjean there. Whereas Raikkonen is stuck behind him. Raikkonen could make the move. No, he can't. Can't even get past the Toro Rosso here. Meanwhile, we've got Vettel. We're gaining a little bit on Ricciardo. Doesn't look like it's going to be... Is it going to be enough? Could it be enough? He's running in backup mode on his tyres. Verstappen is nowhere near Rosberg, really. That for Verstappen to get past Rosberg. Vettel, meanwhile, still improving, still going quicker and quicker here. And Raikkonen is still stuck behind Perez here. So Perez giving us a really good indicator here that he's a lot better than Raikkonen, as he's in a slower car and doing a lot better. Vettel, meanwhile, trying to storm through the field here. Try to storm up behind Ricciardo, should I say. Are actually still gaining on Ricciardo. Do we have enough in this tyre to go into full attack mode? Can we go into attack mode here? Even with 4th and 7th, we would be nowhere near what we need. Oh dear. Yeah, there's no chance of getting this title back anyway now. And we do have some fuel to try recover with Vettel as well. And it doesn't look like we can get Raikkonen past Perez either. So it looks like we're going to have to settle for 5th and 7th here, everybody. Looks like we're going to have to settle for not winning the title. The Mercedes become really strong right at the end of the season. It looks like we're just... yeah, we're on the final lap now. Vettel coming around behind the Red Bulls. The Red Bulls not doing what we hoped they could do, and not the Mercedes from 1 and 2. We had a really disappointing qualifying session. Pretty disappointing racing that we haven't picked up any position at all. We're finishing where we started. Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's gonna. It doesn't look like any of the Red Bulls are gonna catch the Mercedes here. Rosberg's about to come around and finish, as is Verstappen, and Ricciardo's gonna follow him home. Vettel's gonna follow him home, and then it's gonna be Perez in front of Raikkonen here. So 5th and 7th, they're pretty disappointing right at the end of the season. We've been leading this championship for so long, and for so long it looked like we had it in the bag. Obviously, I went with the challenge of not upgrading the car this season, and that was pretty much for this reason, in that I didn't want it to be too easy to win the title. I didn't want to win the title in the first season, as I want this series to be about building Ferrari up. So I'm not disheartened by that at all. It is pretty much actually what I wanted. In that next season we should be really, really, really strong with a really strong car. That we should be on a par, if not quite a bit better than the Mercedes car. So hopefully next season Vettel and Perez, hopefully we're going to be able to get Perez here. So if you look at that, Vettel is champion by 54 points over Lewis Hamilton. Kimi came in 6th overall in the season. And look at that, we got knocked off at the top right at the end by 7 points. Pretty decent to say that the Ferrari car for all season has been a lot slower than the Mercedes. We have had a car that has been a lot worse than the Mercedes. It just didn't come together right there at the end. Possibly that is because we haven't been upgrading the car, but then, as I've said, that is because we wanted that challenge. I did want the Ferrari car to be a lot worse. Just like in 2016, the Ferrari was a long way behind the Mercedes, and that's what we wanted here. And now we can move forward with our new strategy of bringing Perez in, who should bring some money in with 5-star sponsorship, and we can go ahead and build Mick Schumacher up. And next season we can come back with an even stronger car. Possibly do even better than this season. This is possibly... what did we win this season? We won 9 races this season. So Vettel there, confirmed as Drivers' Champion. 9 wins, 13 podiums, 1 did not finish. Mercedes pipped us right at the end of the season. You only get 24 million for actually winning the championship here. So we're going to be quite a long way off, even with what we get in second, of what we need to actually build a new car here. It's going to be interesting in the first episode of season 2 how we're going to afford this new chassis of ours that we're going to be building. Sponsors, we've got tons of sponsorships that have expired now. Obviously we're waiting until we swap Sergio Perez. Both happy. Sebastian Vettel is a champion. His marketability has gone up now as well himself, so he's now 100%, which already gets us to 4 stars. So we could even think about a 50% driver here, just in case we can't get Perez. There's something to think about. We've now got this suspension built that is now a 981, which means we can go ahead and build this other suspension with 2 parts in. Should we? I don't think I've got enough time. Maybe I can build this one and then I'm gonna be able to see from there. Just want to see what sort of prize money we've got. Hopefully we can get to the point where we can get the prize money in. Car repair finished. Is this the point where we get the prize money? Yes, it is. Prize money for 2016, 23. So we've only lost just over $1 million. We now have 27 million in the bank. We should have, how much have we been saving each month? Just under $1 million. So we should have about 15 on top of this, which gives us about 42, which is there or thereabouts for the new chassis. Yeah. So driver of the season, Nico Hulkenberg. So Nico could possibly go. He's got a plus 15 at the moment, possibly not high enough. Right, so I think that is where we're going to leave this season. As we can see, we've got the 4 best rated parts here to go in the car next season, so we're going to have a really strong car next season. We did have the 3rd overall best car at the end of the season. Possibly quite a bit further behind Mercedes and Red Bull, who have obviously been developing their car as well this season. So I'm not disheartened by losing out on the championship right at the end of the season. It is pretty much where I expected to be going into the season, where I did want to be. Therefore, next season we've got that nice story of being able to build up this Ferrari car to be all powerful, to be all defeating. Hopefully that is going to be the case next season, because we're going to... Right, Perez has done pretty well in the Force India. He is a slightly lesser rated driver than Raikkonen is currently, but he really has been performing pretty well this season. As we saw in that last race, he did have a really... or he did make a really good job of holding Vettel up for a lot of the race, and he did a really good job of holding Raikkonen off towards the end of the race as well, keeping Raikkonen down in 7th place. So Perez should be a good driver, or just be good enough next season. Hopefully he can pick up more than 152 points. Raikkonen is pretty much the reason that we've lost the title this season. If we didn't have those 2 crashes from Vettel and Raikkonen, then we would have won the title. Unfortunately, things didn't go our way in the last 3 races of the season. We had a crash in... where did we have a crash? We had a crash in Melbourne, we had a crash in Sao Paulo, and then we had a pretty disappointing performance in the last race of the season, which pretty much cost us the title. But anyway, that is it for season 1 of this Ferrari challenge. We're going to come back in season 2. We're going to have an amazing car next season. I hope you come back and tune in for the new car setup and the first race of the season for next season. That should be the first episode of next season. We're going to be doing the new car and a race that will be coming up tomorrow. I hope you all tune in for that. If you're not subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe down below even. Leave me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I will see you down the road next season, and goodbye.